Yo, what is going on, guys? TymeStopper here, coming back at you another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we finally got the kit reveal for the Fragment Fusion that we knew was already coming for Halloween because we've seen it leaked accidentally by Plarium. But now we have confirmation of when it's going to start, what his skills are going to be, and everything else. So let's jump into the video. Okay, guys, so as you can see on the screen, this is going to be Vlad the Knightborn, and we do have confirmation from Plarium that it is going to be starting on October 28th. I'm going to quickly go over his kit with you, give you my super first impressions without knowing a whole lot of information other than his kit. Let's first talk about what they said. So it says, on Thursday, October 28th, we're planning to launch a champion fragment event with a new champion, Vlad the Knightborn. So we know it's a fragment event and not a fusion event, which means a couple things. One, generally fragment events are easier on your resources and your wallet. And number two, usually you can hang on to them much longer if you want to. You don't have to fuse them right away. So you can use them later for a summon rush if you need to, or extra points in CVC or whatnot. So just something to keep in mind as you're going through this. Now, it does say that he is from the Undead Horde, obviously legendary champion, attack, and he is Void Affinity. We have not had a Void Affinity fusion champion, fragment champion, whatever, in a very, very long time. So hopes are super high for this guy. Now, first, this is the write-up on what Plarium says. They say Vlad the Knightborn should be viable in both PvP and PvE battles. Let's get into his skill set. With A1, he'll heal himself and decrease max HP of the target. This skill might be super useful in long battles against bosses. With A2, Vlad will decrease the turn meter of all enemies, and he'll steal the turn meter of enemies from Bannerlord, Sacred Order, and High Elves. On top of that, he'll place Leech on all enemies. If the boss doesn't have immunity to turn meter reductions, this skill should be extremely useful in boss fights. Moreover, you'll be able to control waves in PvE battles with that turn meter reduction. With the help of his A3, Vlad will attack a single target, debuffing them with decreased defense and block active skills. This should be pretty good on arena and control a particular enemy. And of course, his passive skill, being a vampire descendant, Vlad will be able to return to life when killed. Each time he kills an enemy, he will place revive on death buff on himself. Vlad the Knightborn will also have synergy with another Halloween champion, Constantine the Dayborn. Vlad will be able to fill his own turn meter and fully heal himself when killing an enemy once having Constantine on his team. So it sounds like we're going to be getting some other new champions, at least one, maybe more, that are going to be coming out for Halloween as well. Obviously, if you want to make sure that you get that news first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel here so that as soon as I get that information, I can get that over to you guys. Let's take a look real quick at his actual kit itself. Vlad's skills. On his A1, it's going to be called Thirsting Blade. It's going to attack one enemy, decrease the target's max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted, also heals this champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. So kind of like a Rotos type skill. Hopefully it's going to hit pretty hard. Adding to the fact that it's going to heal him, maybe it's going to make it so that he survives a little bit longer in PvE battles and things like that. Being an attack champion, usually that's going to be their biggest downfall. Now, on his A2, Extinguishing, yeah, I guess. I don't really know how to say that. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. Now, we don't know what these are going to book to. I would assume that this is probably going to book to 100%, being that it started at 75% and he's a legendary, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Also has a 75% chance of stealing 50% of the turn meter from champions from Bannerlord, Sacred Order, and High Elves. Has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 50% instead of targets not from those factions. So basically 50%, he's going to steal 50% of the turn meter if they're from Bannerlord, Sacred Order, High Elves. And if they're not, he's just going to decrease their turn meter. This says it's on a 4-turn cooldown. Again, we don't know what this is going to book to. My guess, maybe 3 books. Hopefully, I don't know. I mean, he's an attack champion. So if this books to 100%, maybe you get 2 books into the 100%, 1 book into cooldown, maybe 1 or 2 into damage. So maybe 5 books on this skill. maybe 4 or 5 books on his first skill. It's not looking good for number of books on this guy already. I can tell you that for sure. So let's hop over to his A3, Mind Shroud. Attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Hopefully books to 100%, being that it is only one enemy. He is hitting twice though, so maybe it doesn't book to 100%. We'll have to wait and find out. The second hit has a 75% chance of placing a block active skill debuff for 2 turns. If both debuffs are placed, places a perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns. So that's kind of cool. In PvP battles, that's going to make it so that he can't get targeted easily if we manage to land both of those. Again, this is also on a 4-turn cooldown. We don't know where that's going to book to, so we'll just have to wait and see. And then his A4 is his passive skill. So this is going to place a Revive on Death buff on this champion for 2 turns every time this champion kills an enemy. Also fully heals this champion, and it fills their turn meter by 50% every time they kill a champion. Will only heal and fill this champion's turn meter when Constantine the Dayborn is on the same enemy team. So that's kind of a bummer. So basically, the only time he's going to get the heal and turn meter fill is when Constantine is on there. He will get the Revive on Death buff every time he kills someone. So hopefully he's able to hit pretty hard. Again, this is super early. We don't know what his multipliers are going to look like yet or anything like that. So he could hit like a wet noodle, or he could hit absolutely incredibly hard. I'm kind of hoping he hits absolutely incredibly hard, because the truth is we haven't had a Void fusion in a very, very long time. And so far, the Void fusions that have come out have been pretty solid. You know, we've got Tormund, we've got Sir Nick. The fusions for Voids have been pretty solid, so hopefully he sticks along those lines. We don't have a ton of information on him yet. At first glance, this guy's going to have to hit pretty hard for me to tell you that he's going to be a must go for, but he is only a fragment collector, so hopefully that makes him a little bit easier for you guys out there who aren't necessarily spending on the game or free to play or low spenders, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, you guys already know that I will get up a fusion calendar as soon as we know more information about him. That's always linked in any of my fusion videos in the video description down below, so you can take a look at his calendar or any of the past fusions if you want to kind of get an idea of where we're at. We do know that one of the shard events for this fusion is going to be a 2x Void, because we just had 2x Sacreds, and Void would be the next 2x up. So make sure that you have Void shards and you're saving them. I know that they already have a Ceres guaranteed event coming out this coming weekend, which I just dropped a video on, and I'll leave that up above. That way, if you guys want to take a look at that, you certainly can. But if you don't need to pull Ceres, I probably would be holding on to my Void shards to make sure that you have enough Void shards. But guys, that's about all the information we have for right now. Short and sweet, not a ton of info for you. I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, as always, until next time, be good.